Hello, my name is Robert Lawrason, and the topic I randomly selected for my final presentation was 5 varieties of snap beans. The botanical name for the common bean plant is Phaseolus vulgaris. It originally grew wild in a range from the Andes Mountains of South America all the way up through northern Mexico. These beans were so prolific in the region that they came to represent one-third of some indigenous peoples' holy trinity of agricultural sustainability, the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash. There are two main cultivars of Phaseolus vulgaris, pole beans and bush beans. The major differentiation between these cultivars is the way in which they grow. Bush beans are typically found as determinate plants growing lower to the ground with bushy structures, whereas pole beans enjoy climbing and are mostly indeterminate. For beginning gardeners, it should be noted that it generally takes less physical space and setup hardware to grow bush bean varieties, and so those are the varieties we will be talking about today. When planting bush beans, seedlings will enjoy a consistently moist, airy, well-draining soil that is close to a silty loam texture. Direct sow plantings can occur once the soil reaches 70 to 80 degrees at a depth of 1/2 to 1 inch. It is not recommended to transplant seedlings. Seeds can be spaced 2 inches apart with rows interspersed around 24 inches. They can then be thinned back to 6-inch spacing as needed. As common bean plants are nitrogen fixers, it is recommended to be careful of overintroduction of nitrogen into the soil during the growing season. When discussing companion planting, it should be noted that plants in the allium family produce a chemical compound called agene, which has many wonderful antibacterial properties, but unfortunately also kills the bacterial cultures found on the roots of our common bean plants, and therefore they should never be planted side by side because of that interaction. With the soil warming up in our area, the August 2021 issue of GNO Gardening magazine has just come out with a chart suggesting a second round planting of Phaseolus vulgaris is still viable this month. With the knowledge that we can get to gardening literally right now, let's take a look at 5 different varieties of common bush beans LSU Ag is recommending that we throw in the dirt today. The Blue Lake 274 is a very technical sounding beanie boy, but it's actually the most common green bean you'll see on the market. Growers usually enjoy a large, reliable yield from mature plants 10 to 12 inches wide. The cultivar is highly resistant to BCMV, and the beans are especially known for retaining their flavor when canned or frozen. These will be the canned variety you'll see in most grocery stores. The next bean up is the contender bush bean. It's known for early maturation and a large yield of tender beans picked early around 5 inches, though they can grow to 8 inches if left on the vine. This cultivar excels at powdery mildew resistance and has round, slightly curved pods. It has also been bred with some resistance to BCMV. The Derby bush bean produces very tender, straight, deep green pods up to 7 inches long. They are known for how well they hold to the plant, resulting in a more successful yield. Yet, at the same time, individual pods slip very easily from the pedestal for harvest. This cultivar has also been bred to be BCMV resistant. Bear Bronco beans are said to have a waxy, dark green appearance. This cultivar has been specifically bred by Bear Company for a long, fresh market shelf life, meaning it will externally appear fresher for longer than other varieties do and last longer for long distance shipping and display purposes. Bronco beans also have a very high resistance to BCMV and are the preferred chain store variety for fresh sales. Bronco beans are never industrially used for processing, freezing, or canning purposes. Lynx beans are also Bear products, but they were bred for shipping rather than appearance. Dark green pods contain a high amount of fiber that slows wrinkling between harvest and sale. Lynx have also been bred to have more of a concentrated bean pod set for mechanical harvesting. Lynx snap beans are disease resistant to not only BCMV, but also halo blight and bean rust disease. On the screen, you'll see several different adverse conditions common beans can experience. Bean common mosaic virus and blight conditions both force destruction of the entire plant, while rust, powdery mildew, and bean beetles can be controlled quite easily if identified very early. So now is the perfect time to plant, and you've learned a bit about beans. Most varieties are going to take about 50 days from seed to harvest. Bean pods can be harvested at approximately the width of a pencil and should be firm to the touch with no bulges and distinctively snap when breaking a fresh pod, giving the legume its common namesake. Pods should be picked late morning after dew settles and used within a week. My name is Rob Lawrason, and I appreciate you coming with me on this little adventure in beans. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to help you out with the limited information I did learn while researching one of our oldest and most reliable crops. Just let me know. Thank you very much.